Welcome and Dumnala to today's Sabassembler. And as you know, today we have the XM Studios Green Goblin statue as you voted for, since I asked everyone during my last XM Scorpion unboxing which Sinister 6 villain they want next to be unboxed. I gave you the choice between the Green Goblin and the Doc Ock statue from XM Studios, and the majority of you voted for the Green Goblin. So today I'm standing here ready to unbox this statue. I mean, this is a statue I've been really eager to open since a long time, since, as you can see behind me here, I've been already collecting all the Sinister 6 statues from XM Studios, and this is just the next piece in the collection, and I'm ready to unbox the statue. I'm really excited about the statue, and I've always wanted a Green Goblin statue, and finally I have it here. I've heard so much about the statue and just can't wait about the statue. And just one more thing, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit the like button. Definitely don't forget to subscribe. And thank you again to all my fellow Sabassemblers and other fellow collectors for your support. I really appreciate that. And recently we've managed to break the 300 subscribers line, and thanks again for all your support. And we still want to get the 1,000 subscribers, and just everyone, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Just one click and no one loses anything. So okay, thanks again for that. So as you can see, this villain comes in a relatively small box, but this box is actually much heavier than it looks like, and it's right here next to me. So let's just open it up and see what's inside. Wow. Okay, as usual, we get this black envelope from XM Studios. We get the art print. It's a beautiful art print. We have Green Goblin right here in the front, and we have Spider-Man just right behind him, and in the moonlight, and it's a beautiful art print. I think it looks great. I mean, you got all this flames, or all these pieces of fire flying around, and it's a beautiful art print. The colors look really great. And here we have the packaging guide as usual, and the QR code for the assembly video. And let's just put this back again, and let's get the box out. As you can see here, we have, as usual, the nice sturdy XM Studios packaging, and on the side here we have just saying like Spider-Man, Marvel, and Green Goblin. Beautiful huge logo, a little bit different than usual. Well, here on the bottom we have a small description of the Green Goblin character, and on the other side we just have, as usual, also all the people involved in this statue written down. Let's just get out all the individual pieces first, and I'll see you back then for the assembly.
ለዘመናት ባዶ የነበረው ልቤ ዛሬን ሙት ተፈታ ውበት አሸነፈው በጉራጌዋ እንጂ የመስቀለት ማታ የሳለታ 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 ስቴከረታ የሳለታ አይ ውበት የሳለታ አቤት 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 የሳለታ 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 ውስጤ ተረታ የሳለታ የሳለታ አቤት አቤት አላደኩኝ በሷ መሬት ፈሶ ቀረ አይኔ ሲያያት ትፈራዋ መልኳን ነው ደሳ ለካ እንዲህ ነው ፍቅር እንደ ዋሳ እውነተኛው ፍቅር አይመርጥም ቋንቋ ዘር ሱላ ባንቺ ሕይወቴ ነይልኝ ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ ግቢ ቤቴ ዘመናት ባዶ የነበረው ልቤ ዛሬን ሙት ተፈታ ውበት አሸነፈው በጉራጌዋ ልጅ የመስገነት ማታ የሳለታ 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 የተረታ የሳለታ አይ ውበቷ የሳለታ አቤት አቤት የሳለታ 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 የተረታ የሳለታ የሳለታ አቤት አቤት በዋዜማው በደመራው ተሰብስቦ ሲጨፍር ሰው ሳይደነግጥ ልቤ ሰራ ገባው መሃል በሷ ጭፈራ እውነተኛው ፍቅር አይለይም ቋንቋ ዘር ሱላ ባንቺ ሕይወቴ ነይልኝ ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ 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 ግቢ ቤቴ ነይ 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 ግቢ ቤቴ
Okay, welcome back. We are back and we got all the pieces unboxed, and this piece I can say comes with quite a lot of pieces. I'm actually quite surprised, and we have this, how should I say, like maybe medium-sized base. The base is not small, but it's not like overly sized too, but it has quite a lot of details, and back again, I would say like the details are done quite a lot. You have all these bricks, like similar base I would say to the vulture statue. You have kind of this brick building, and I think it's got a similar base. And here again, I don't know, like XM is kind of gonna step backwards. Maybe the stone doesn't look like stone. It has kind of this glossy finish, but it still looks very good. And you have I think like the main engine of the glider of Green Goblin is already included in the base, and let's, I would say, just start assembling the statue. And so I believe like the first piece would be kind of the head piece, the front piece of the glider, and that just goes in right in the front with 2 big pegs, and just stick those in, and those go in with no issues. And next that would be, I believe, would be this whole piece of smoke that just comes out right at the back, and that just, you just like stick that in with a huge peg right here in the back, and just let's figure that out, and it goes in, and you have this whole, I can't say, this trace of smoke. Really nice coloring, I would say, of the smoke. You have like where the fire is right here in the bottom, and then you have it kind of fading in, fading the colors out to lighter orange, white and gray, and looks really nice. And next piece I believe would be these pieces of kind of the buildings or wood frames, and you have this large piece that goes in right here with magnets right here, right inside, and I believe that just fits in with no issues. And then you have a smaller piece, I believe that also goes in with a magnet, and that, and it kind of goes upside down just right here in the back, you don't even see it, and also no issues. And another magnet piece that just goes in a little bit from the front on the side, and they all have like keys and magnets, so you know like which direction they go in. Okay, and next you have the smallest piece of wooden frame, and that's actually quite hidden. It goes right under the second last piece of wood that's already included in the base, and you just have to put the magnet upwards and just kind of hold it underneath, and it kind of just grabs it in automatically. And but it's kind of hidden, you have to really look for it, but it's not a big deal anyway. So next would be these smaller pieces of rebar that come with tiny pegs, and I believe those go in right here in the front where all these kind of tubes go in, and I believe you just kind of just stick those in, and there's one on top and another one underneath, and then you have another even smaller pieces of these rebars, and that go in on the corner of the ground, and you just stick those in, and I believe those also have something like a key, and they stick in and they don't move. They're standing there quite solidly. And okay, we already have the base here, and the next step would be the kind of the wings of the of the glider. And here we have one that has, I believe, just a magnet, and that just, you just kind of connect that right here in the middle, and you just hold it in, and it holds, and it partially stands like on the base, like, and it with one side, and the other wing kind of goes in with a larger peg. And let's just see how maybe you should just kind of look down, and yeah, now we have it. And now we have the base. So Next would be the main body of the, I believe of the, of the Green Goblin, and then that one just sits in mainly like on the glider, like the right leg goes into the wing. The right leg goes on the right wing and the left one on the left wing. They just like stand on top of each other, and here we have the Green Goblin, and he's already getting quite big. And maybe I just move the camera a little bit, and here we have the Green Goblin already, like wow, almost totally assembled. Wow, looking already pretty great, very dynamic pose. And so I believe next piece would be this larger piece of the goblin's like purple scarf that goes around him and goes with a huge magnet key right on top, and it just sits in there with no issues, looking great. And next would be, I believe, his his bag that he carries around him, and the bag kind of it's kind of with partially mixed media. The main body of the bag is sculpted, but the strap is kind of this fake leather material, and it looks really nice. And I believe first you have to the bag goes in with a peg goes in right in the back of the goblin first, and so it creates this kind of dynamic look as if the bag is kind of flying in the air. And I believe what we have to do is now kind of move the strap around around the torso of the goblin, so it's kind of, you get the look that he's like kind of carrying it around him. And we just have to move it around, and that works out pretty easily. So it looks like that. I mean, and this way you have, as I said before, like kind of so it looks like the bag is like kind of flying in the air, and you get that effect when it's kind of connected into his back, and it's like horizontal and looks really good and really gives it a really nice dynamic feel. And I really like that idea. Even the idea that they thought about that, I mean, thumbs up on that, XM Studios. So next would be let's just start with maybe the regular portrait. Wow, the portrait of the Green Goblin is phenomenal. I think this is the best Green Goblin portrait ever made on the statue market. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I really love this portrait. And you have the portrait that goes up right on top. Beautiful Green Goblin portrait. And next, let's use the pumpkin. The pumpkin right arm and holding up, and the pumpkin arm has this smaller piece of smoke that goes in right on top. And that looks great. Beautiful look. And next would be, I believe, just the open left arm that goes in. That goes in right there, and beautiful look. I mean, and wow. Beautiful Green Goblin. And I believe like the final piece would be you have this tiny rat you get, that you just kind of put it on the inside of this kind of these tubes, and you just kind of, should I say, you just kind of stand them, place them inside, so it looks like the rat is just like coming out of the ground, and looks really nice. I mean, a really nice extra. And most people are probably never going to see it, but it's a nice extra that they've, I mean, the fact that they added this thing to the statue looks, it's a really nice extra plus. And wow, this is, here we have the Green Goblin. I believe this is the first version of the Green Goblin you can display him, and wow, and it is it's not a small statue, it's actually quite big. I mean, it's bigger than I expected, and I believe this is the largest way you can display him, or the tallest way. And I'll just take a few moments and look at the details and get back to you to the review. Okay, welcome back, guys. I've had a few moments, man, to kind of analyze this statue, and I can tell you I'm really excited about it. There are like maybe 3 or 4 things I'm not so happy about this statue, like where I think that could have been done better. But generally speaking, I think this is one of the best Green Goblin statues ever made. And let's just start with the concept of the statue. I think it's almost perfect. Like, I think you get you can immediately see you have this comic look of the Green Goblin, and I think I'm really happy they went with that way and not any like realistic way, like, or movie look. You get the real comic, original, classical Goblin, like comic Green Goblin look, and I think especially the portrait looks phenomenal. I think when you're talking about the kind of details and design of the Green Goblin, I think this is the best Green Goblin like ever made. And as I said, like, the concept is great. Like, you have him on this glider and just like flying through. And let's start with the base. The base is something where I think that could have been done better, honestly. And I mean, you have the base, you have kind of this kind of rock ground, and you have these wooden kind of frames of building that are kind of looking out from the bottom, and you have these kind of wooden, let's say, what this rock walls pieces, like kind of looking out on the middle, like where the glider is just right flying through it. And then you have like on the glider you have like one of the webs from Spiderman. You just like spray it right onto him, and that looks great. I mean, you have the details, and you have also the kind of this battle damages on the wings of the glider, and you have all those, and you have kind of this metal look, and you have these scratches on the metal, and looking great. And on the back you have this kind of, you have where the smoke comes out, and you can see like here, like, where it's supposed to be really hot, you have like where you have the turbine or the engine, and with the exhaust where you have the fire like coming out, and you can see the middle, it's just like straight, like it's just like with smoke, it's just like coming out, and then it turns into like this kind of more, how should I say, more cloudy look, and the colors also change. You have these darker colors at the beginning, and then they start to fade out into yellow, even lighter yellow, and then white, and then more more like a gray tone. Looks good. And that's what I'm saying, is like my wish would have been that there would be more, how should I say, like more smoke around the whole base. Like, maybe you could have had, I don't know if people remember the sideshow Green Goblin statue that was a premium format that was done like a few years ago. there you had like more smoke around the base. I really like that, and I wish they would have added more smoke on this base. Maybe where the whole base could have been more smoke, like made out of smoke. Like that would have looked, I think, awesome, and I think that could have made the statue look much better. And that's like my opinion. I think that would have taken the statue to another level. And another piece, like something I don't understand, are these kind of small pieces of, I think it's supposed to be look like the hydraulics of the wings, and these are made like out of kind of paper or like plastic material. They just like kind of move up and down. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I looked at the pictures like you had on some of the older websites, and they're not made out of this paper. They were kind of sculpted, but then later on, like when you look at the assembly video again, you have this paper thing like that just move around here, and I don't know what XM was kind of doing there. Maybe they just changed their opinion on what to add here in the middle, and I don't know what XM was doing here. I think that's something they messed up on. And going back to the good things, and like underneath the wings you have the engines of the glider, and you're probably never gonna see it, but there's a lot of details like going underneath the wings, and you can see them also on the inside here on the left side, and that looks really great. And thumbs up on that. And here in the front, and where that engine and or turbine, whatever you want to call it, looks great. And then coming to the main body of the Green Goblin, let's start with his skin or the costume. You have this scaly look, and of the goblin, like you have all these different scales that are sculpted in, and all these different shadings of green, and they really look like real scales. And I think that's what I meant before when I said the details of the Green Goblin. I think there's no Green Goblin with so much detail sculpted and painted in, and that's why I think this is the best Green Goblin like ever made. And the paint job here is just phenomenal. Well, really, thumbs up. And you have this kind of the same scaly look on his arms, and all you have also like on his face, there's different shadings, and also you have like kind of this his leather boots on purple, and you have the kind of this leather straps all over on top of his left feet, and also on his kind of torso, these different straps, and kind of give a similar look on his back. And like it took me a while actually to see that. I just saw that just a few moments ago, when the bag is actually like one of the straps is open, and when you can see like one of it is open and the other one is closed, and you can look inside on one of the sides of the bag, and you can see like they sculpted in even one of these pumpkin bombs like on the inside of his bag. And I mean, the fact that no one's ever probably gonna see it, but the fact that they added that extra piece of detail into the statue is, I mean, something really special, I think. I'll leave like maybe a picture for that, and so you can look at it. But I mean, I think that's a nice extra. And you have this kind of this fake leather piece that goes around him, like this mixed media for the strap, and his gloves and his hat. This different purple leather looks, and it kind of almost looks like real leather, like the texture and the paint job of these leather pieces. They look really nice, and you have all these different battle damages on the different parts, and the edges kind of start fading off, and where they've been wearing off over the years. And also all these different straps, like kind of where you have all the stitches on his hat, looks really nice. And when you look inside his face, and the on the inside of his face, his mouth, that looks really nice, and the eyes too. You have this really huge, this big yellow eyes, and they have this kind of this glossy look, and they really, they really stand out when you look at the statue. Really nice done. And then you have this pumpkin grenade or bomb he holds in his hand. You have this really like kind of this Halloween pumpkin, and you have this piece of smoke that kind of goes off on the top, and that looks really nice too. You have this different shadings. You have this bright orange on the outside, and these darker parts on the insides, on the edges. Really nice details there. And this statue does come with a few switch outs, so let's just go to the switch outs for this moment. For the left arm, we have one switch out where you have him you have to switch out the one hand, and you have the other hand where he's holding his goblin mask in the hand, and that's meant to be for the portrait, for the unmasked portrait of Harry Osborn. And when I look at, the portrait of the unmasked portrait looks really nice. You have nice details, and the inside of his mouth too, this glossy look of his teeth and the gum, and looks really nice. When I look at this, as a child I used to have a friend, and kind of the look of his face kind of reminds me a little bit of him, and they look kind of similar. And then you have the unmasked one, and when I look at this, I think also the unmasked, I'm not a big fan of unmasked portraits usually, but it looks really good, I think. It's actually one where I might consider actually to use it. And there's another switch out for the right hand, where you have one hand where he's holding these kind of batarang things, and those go in. And this is, I believe, the second option. I believe you could also just, instead of holding the hand with the batarangs, you could also use it with just with the bombs. And I personally don't think I would ever be using this arm, and I think the pumpkin bomb version is a must. Like, this is one that's always going to be used for me, and this is something, as I said, I'll never be using this one for sure. But this is another way you could display him, or how you could display him. Looks really nice. And just still thinking of how to display him. And so, as I said, this is not a small statue, it's a relatively big quarter scale statue. And let's look at the sizes. The height of the statue is, I think, the very top part of the smoke from the bomb, and from the bottom all the way to the top, it's pretty much exactly 71 centimeters tall, and the depth, like, it would be like from the front of the, from the front of the base here, all the way to the back of where the smoke kind of looks out, and that's like 50 centimeters deep, and the width would be, I believe, 42, 43 centimeters, something like that. And said it's relatively big statue, for a quarter scale, but for the money you pay and what you get, I'm very happy with it. And once again, we're lucky enough to get one of these rare XM plaques, And this time we have one for the Green Goblin, and let's just see how that looks like. And already looking really nice. You have these, let's just take this, and here this one comes with the nice classical Green Goblin masked look, beautiful look, and I'm really happy. Like I'm always happy when I get one of these with my statues. It's really nice to display them like next to your statues in your displays. Just gives it an extra nice feel and to your collection, and it's a beautiful thing. And so what else is there to say? So generally speaking, I'm very happy with this statue. And oh yeah, one more thing, you said like before, like, you have this really small kind of mouse or rat that comes out of the tube from the canalization and looks out, and it's kind of really hard to see, but it's a really nice extra they added. And you have this tiny mouse or rat, and very nicely detailed, and I mean, it's nice to have it there, and it's just another nice small extra piece they added, and I'm really happy with that. You just put it right in the front and you can see it. And as I said, like generally speaking, I think all the details on the statue are great. As I said before, just a few things where I think the statue could have been improved, like the look of the base, where there could have been much more smoke around the whole base, or these small kind of these turbines, or these plastic pieces on the base, or the look of the ground, like the stone doesn't really look like stone again on XM. It's got too much gloss around it. But generally I think XM has done a really nice job on their Green Goblin, and if anyone's still planning to get the statue, I can only say get it. You definitely won't be disappointed. And here also, like, maybe we can just look at the mask of the Green Goblin, like he's holding in his hand, and here you don't see the pupils on the eyes, and really nice look. And it's I mean, everyone's got to decide for himself which way they're gonna display him, and really, and I mean, also before you have the bag is kind of connected to the back of the goblin, and it's kind of horizontal, so it looks like he's flying, and the bag is kind of just like floating, like flying in the air with the stream, and it's a really nice thing they added, and it's better than having it just like on the bottom, and so it doesn't look so dynamic anymore. But this way you really get this dynamic look of the character. But really thumbs up for that. So what else? So generally I think out of 10 maybe I would give the statue a strong 8, and so I think no one can ever go wrong with this statue. So thanks God I finally have this my Green Goblin in my XM Sinister 6 collection, and I can't wait to put it in my display. And so all I can say is now, God bless you, God bless our statues, and have a nice day.
ድምድም አታሞ ድምድም ድምድም ወደ ጎጃም ግድም ድምድም ወደ ጎንደር ግድም ድምድም ወደ ራያ ግድም ድምድም አታሞ ድምድም ድምድም ባለ እንግዲህ አገልግም መላ የለው መላ የኔስ ነገር እስኪ ሻል ቢለኝ አባይን ልሻገር መላ የለው መላ የኔስ ፍቅር እስኪ መላ ባገኝ ጭሙጋን ልሻገር ተወኝ ሐኪም አጉላት አድክመኝ ምን ብዬ ነግሬህ ምን ብለህ ታክመኝ ምን ተሰማህ ብሎን ምንድነው ጥያቄ ምን እንደሚሰማኝ እኔስ ምን አውቄ አፈሩ ነጭ ጤፍ መሬቱ ሸጋብቃይ አየሩ እንደ ዋግምት የጎኑ ጋት ነቃይ እግሬ እንደለቀጠ የአባይ ማዶን ዳገት የኖረብኝ ህመም ይቶኛል ድንገት የመንከኔን ለማይረባኝ ነገር ይልቅ ልሂድ አባይን ልሻገር የመንከኔን ለማይረባኝ ነገር ይልቅ ልሂድ አባይን ልሻገር የምን ድንበር ለማይጠቅም ነገር ተያይዘን በፍቅር እንሻገር የምን ድንበር ለማይጠቅም ነገር ተያይዘን በፍቅር እንሻገር ከወንዝ ወዲያ ማዶ እንሻገር ጉዳይ የነበረህ የኔ ቢጤ አፍቃሪ እንግዲህ ምን ቀረህ ሙላቱ ካለፈው እፎይ ካለች ሀገር ምን እንጠብቃለን በል ወንዝ እንሻገር በሉን ወንዙን እንሻገር ከንፈር ዋንቅብ ያለው ብሎ ማነገረኝ በግላጭ በስማት ምቻ አጠናገረኝ ህመም ያለ ክፍቴን መቻወቀልኝ ሰው ናፍቆት ነው ጉልበቴን የሚያልፈሰፍሰው እልልበይ 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 እልልበይ